Let's talk about securities. And no, we're not talking about home security or business security. We're talking about a financial instrument that has monetary value and can be traded. Let's look at how this industry is reshaping the financial industry in Belize. We sat down with economic consultant Ramil Arana for an explanation of the securities industry.
Securities are generally of two types. You have debt securities and you have equity securities. Equities represent an ownership stake in a business or whoever is giving that security. So people of Belize might recognize that in the form of shares or stocks. The return that people get from those come in the form of dividends. So when dividends are declared by the business at the end of the year, you as a shareholder receive an amount depending on the percentage or the amount of shares that you own.
The Belize Telemedia Limited is one entity that deals in equity securities. Recently, the telecom giant issued a public notice informing shareholders that the company will begin to pay final dividends for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. And then there is debt securities. It is called debt security because the issuer is essentially a borrower. The investor does not receive shares in return, but rather a stream of annual interest payments. For further explanation, we turn to the Belize City Council. They have issued bonds in the past to advance their development operations.
It empowers you as a municipality that you are now able to access funding outside of the traditional way of how municipalities once used to finance development. They would either do overdraft, they would either do loans. But what we found out is that the Belize City investment climate is ripe for issuing securities, right? We have over close to 800 million in excess liquidity in the banking system. For Belize City, we offer interest rates on our bonds between 4.5% and 5.5%. That is competitive compared to the market. It helps us fund roads, streets, bridges. That is what it does for municipalities.
And every effective securities industry needs a regulatory body. That is where the Financial Services Commission comes into play. At its core, the FSC is mandated to protect and enhance the reputation of Belize as a financial center while protecting investors from unfair and fraudulent practices. Guided by the Financial Services Commission Act, the Securities Commission Act, and the Municipal Securities Act, FSC Security Policy Analyst Sean Gordon further explained the role of the FSC.
A large part of our mandate as the securities regulator is always to ensure that investors are well protected at all times. So really, with that, if you have an entity or a company that wants to conduct securities business, they must first be registered to do so within our jurisdiction. We need to ensure that one, the company and also the personnel involved are fit and proper or really qualified to do so in our jurisdiction. We also regulate offerings. So for example, like the Belize City Council bond. Typically when an offerer wants to put something to the market, they have to get the approval from the commission, from the securities regulator. So typically how that works is that they have to submit what you call a prospectus. And a prospectus really is a document that comprises or summarizes, well, not really summarizes, but it has all the material information that you as an investor need to make an informed decision.
Belize has the components necessary to expand the market for securities to be issued, which is also known as a primary securities market. But there's a next step in the process where these previously issued securities can be bought and sold by investors. This is referred to as a secondary market. The stock exchange market is an example that does not currently exist in Belize.
At the stock exchange, you need several things that happened before that. You need underwriters, you need investors, you need what we call a central securities deposit, because again, the securities, we can't hold them all in terms of the certificate, the physical certificate, because if I want to trade, that would be harder. I'd have to walk with my certificate to you and say, here, this is worth $10,000, purchase it from me, and you hand me $10,000. You know the risks involved in that, right? So you need a central security, so you need institutions, you need an economy that's ready for it. Because if we're being very honest, the average Belizean economy, the average Belizean household is making probably about $2,000 or less. So that doesn't give them disposable income to make that purchase.
So until then, the key takeaway for potential investors is that opportunities exist to earn passive income outside of the banking system through securities investments. But as FSC's security policy analyst Sean Gordon explained, every potential investor must always do his or her due diligence.
The key thing here is to ensure that investors are doing their part, doing their own due diligence. So if you're seeing an advertisement from a firm, whoever it is, domestic or international, you must always double check with the commission via our website, or just simply send us an email or call us to ensure that that entity is indeed registered to carry out securities business.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.